Hey, how's it going? I'm Chris and I'm back with another video. So please enjoy this video review of the brand new Tentbox Lite XL. So here it is, my video review of the Tentbox Lite XL. Just as I did with my Lite 2.0 reviews, I've created shorter and longer versions of this video. This one, the shorter version, is more of a summary of my thoughts. Both are worth watching, but for those of you seriously considering buying this tent, the longer version is definitely the one to watch. Most people looking at buying a Lite model will be looking at either the Lite 2.0 or the Lite XL. Apart from their size, the tents are pretty much identical, so to save some time, I've decided to skim over some things in this video which I've already covered in more detail in my Lite 2.0 videos. On the flip side, I've also learnt more about these tents since I made those Lite 2.0 review videos. So it's well worth watching both sets of videos before deciding which tent to buy. When you do decide that you're ready to order a Tentbox tent, I've put a discount code on the screen for you, which you can use on the Tentbox website at checkout. It's my way of saying thank you for watching, and it can be used when ordering any model of tent, so it doesn't just have to be an XL, so please grab yourself a discount on me. The other exciting news I've got in store for you is that I'm proud to be the first person to debut the first ever video footage of the brand new living pod for the Lite XL and the Lite 2.0. This has been gratefully supplied to me by Tentbox, so keep watching and you'll find this later on in the video. So without any further delay, let's crack on. So the first thing I need to say about this tent is that it's absolutely massive. It sleeps 4 adults very comfortably, but if you're a family with 2 adults and 2 children, you'll have plenty of room. If you're trying to decide between the 3 Lite models and you're wondering if the XL really does fit 4 people, I can 100% confirm that it does, comfortably. If you're a couple, like myself and my wife, wondering whether you should go for the Lite XL over the Lite 2.0 because of the extra room, I can 100% say that I'm glad we did. What I'm doing here is removing the rainfly cover. I filmed some footage with it attached, but I also wanted to show you how the tent looks without it. The Lite XL and the Lite 2.0 both come with this rainfly cover, and it's to give you additional weather protection. In terms of colour options, the rainfly cover only comes in black, but the good news is that it goes well with all 3 colours of Tentbox. The colour you see on the screen here is the slate grey, and that's the one that I've got, whereas the colour I filmed in my Lite 2.0 review was the sunset orange. Tentbox also now offer a sexy new forest green colour which looks stunning, and I can't wait to see it in person. There is one other thing to consider beyond just how the colours look, and that's how much light the different colours let into the tent. I can't speak for the forest green, but after sleeping in both the sunset orange and the slate grey, the grey does a much better job of blocking out the light. It's almost pitch black in there. If you've ordered your tent and you're wondering if you need anything else, everything is included in your tent when it's delivered. When you take delivery of your tent, unbox it on the ground and open it up. You'll find everything tucked inside. It's far easier to do this on the ground than while it's on your roof. With regards to opening up this tent, I'm going to leave that for the longer version of this video to save some time. So if you're interested, you can find it there. I've also covered it in more detail in my review for the Lite 2.0, and you can find a dedicated video on this channel which looks at how to set up and pack away the Lite 2.0. The Lite XL is almost exactly the same as the Lite 2.0, so it should be easy enough to follow. The new outer travel cover is made from PVC backcore Dura and is identical to the new cover on the Lite 2.0. It's more durable, more weatherproof, and has a higher UV resistance rating than the cover on the Lite 1.0. The other new feature is the inclusion of a YKK zip that runs around the bottom of the cover, compared to just the Velcro on the cover on the Lite 1.0. This provides a much more secure fit on the tent and also prevents water ingress. Just like the Lite 2.0, the new outer XL cover is a better fit over the tent. What I mean by that is that the cover isn't as tight like it was on the Lite 1.0, meaning there is a little more wiggle room to fit the cover over the tent and it's not as snug. The second big upgrade is the new foot-friendly step ladder. What I mean by foot-friendly is that the ladder steps have been designed to lay flat when the ladder is out at an angle. This makes it much more comfortable to climb when you're barefoot or wearing socks. Just like the Lite 2.0, the XL also receives a new pole bag, which slots into the C-channel and allows you to keep the bag in place. All windows and doors come with anti-bug meshing to help when the midges are out in force. And just like the Lite 2.0, the XL features 2 skylights, which is an upgrade over the Lite 1.0. This makes it even more perfect for stargazing. For those of you wondering how the tent will hold up in the wind, it's rated for up to 39 miles per hour or gale force 8. The tent is also 4-season rated, making it great for camping in both summer and winter. This is the same on both the Lite XL and the Lite 2.0. If you fancy yourself some winter camping, but you're worried about getting a little cold in the winter months, Tentbox have released a new thermal kit accessory for both the Lite XL and the Lite 2.0 tents, giving you that extra bit of comfort in the colder weather. Remember, nothing beats a good sleeping bag, and if you're able to make up a hot water bottle, that will help too. But the new thermal kit will go a long way to help make winter camping more possible for a lot of people. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of comfort while you're camping. The XL is 20 centimeters longer than the Lite 2.0 and 50 centimeters wider. It's very spacious. If you're wondering about weight capacity, both the XL and the Lite 2.0 will hold 300 kilograms inside, and the ladder is rated to hold 150 kilos on both tents. Price-wise, the XL sits bang in the middle of the Tentbox range. It's more than the other Lite models, but less than the Classic and the Cargo models, which are both hardshell tents, hence the added cost. One of the big questions that I'm always asked is about the mattress and how comfortable it is. Personally, I feel the included mattress is fine as it is. It features dual layer foam with a memory foam topper built into the mattress. But some people have said that they need additional toppers to be comfortable. There is not a single solution when it comes to a mattress, and everyone will find them different. My advice though would be to try it out first and see how you feel. If it's a little hard for you, you can always buy a topper later, but I certainly wouldn't stress or rush out and buy something before your tent arrives, as you might find the mattress to be absolutely fine. It really does vary from person to person, so I wouldn't go off other people's opinions on mattress comfort. Just see for yourself. The other thing I felt was important to mention for people who are just getting into tent boxing is that if you're looking at buying your first tent box, make sure that you get your tent insured and you look at your security options for keeping it safe. I don't want to go into too much detail in this video, but I'll make a separate video on security and insurance and post the link in the description to this video when that's ready. The other thing I wanted to mention was about condensation, or lack of. For most of the nights that I've spent in there so far, I've even had a hot water bottle in there with me, which usually would cause lots of condensation with it being warmer in there. But I've had no condensation on any of the nights or any of the mornings that I've slept in the tent, which is fantastic, and that's due in part to the very good ventilation that now comes with the tents. Now, back when I filmed my Lite 2.0 review video back in April, which you can find on this channel, I made mention in that video that essentially Tentbox were planning on releasing some accessories in the future for both this tent, the Lite XL, and the Lite 2.0. Now, I am going to do a separate video to go on this channel where I will talk in depth about these accessories, but I am going to mention them also in this video just because I think they are very, very relevant when it comes to making a decision about whether to buy either this tent or the Lite 2.0. So let's discuss that now. I've already spoken in this video about the new thermal kit and the new cargo net, but there are some other accessories too. There is a new windbreak which attaches to the base of the tent, and it's compatible with all the Lite models, including the Lite 1.0. There is also a new boot bag for storing your shoes while you're up in the tent, and also some new utility pockets for storing various items while you're pitched up. But for me, the biggest addition to this range of tents is the new living pod. This is one of the main reasons I decided to switch from my cargo to the Lite XL. The living pod is basically an annex that attaches to the side of your tent and provides you with a large enclosed functional space beneath your tent. With the living pod, you're protected from all the elements, so whether it's a midnight run for the toilet or you're finding yourself having to shelter from the bad weather during the day, you can cook, relax, go to the toilet, all within the space under your tent. Available for both the Lite XL and the Lite 2.0, the living pod comes in two different heights, one for normal cars and a taller one for higher vehicles like vans and pickup trucks. There is a door on the front allowing you to access the main ladder, and there's also a door at the rear allowing you to access your vehicle. The living pod also comes with a ground sheet which you can use if you wish. The living pod attaches to the tent easily, and equally it stores away neatly in a small bag to be used when you choose. If you're trying to decide between a Lite XL, a Lite 2.0 and a Lite 1.0, it's also worth mentioning that the new living pod is not compatible with the Lite 1.0. The Lite 1.0 does have its own annex, but that annex does not cover the ladder. So again, all these things need to be considered. I knew back in March that Tentbox were launching the living pod, and it's a big reason why I sold my cargo and bought the XL. I can't stress enough how cool this product is, and I'm really looking forward to receiving mine. I'll definitely make a dedicated video for the living pod when mine arrives, so be sure to subscribe if you don't already. So I've talked about everything I love about this tent, but it's equally as important to discuss any negatives or any potential negatives. The first issue I had is that when my tent arrived, the zip for the outer cover had been crushed during transit. It turns out it wasn't an isolated incident, and this wasn't Tentbox's fault, and Tentbox did send me out a replacement part promptly, which for me is a sign of excellent customer service. The second issue I've had is that my outer cover has started to rip near one of the outer straps. It seems to have been rubbing on the thin metal trim on the edge of the tent base, but again, I've spoken to Tentbox and they're sorting out a replacement for me. The third thing I wanted to mention is the setup and pack down time. Now this is something that's more of a potential negative for somebody coming from a cargo, and it's to do with how long it takes to set this tent up and pack it down compared to the cargo tent. It's 5 minutes for the light models and 30 seconds for the cargo. Is this an issue for me? No. If it takes 5 minutes, it takes 5 minutes, because when I'm camping, I've got lots of time on my hands anyway. So really, it is a non-issue for me, and it certainly wouldn't impact my decision when choosing to buy the Tentbox Lite XL or the Tentbox Lite 2.0. The other issue some people have is that you can't store the bedding inside this tent, whereas you can on a classic and a cargo model. Now the cargo model I used to have was the older version of the cargo compared to what's sold now, and I couldn't store my bedding in that tent either. So for me, I've never been able to do that, therefore it's not an issue. But I thought I'd mention it as you might care, and it may come into consideration for you when choosing between models. I mentioned in my Lite 2.0 review video about the inside zips being a little bit fiddly on the side windows. It's exactly the same on the XL, but it really isn't a major issue. There's just a bit of a knack to it, but it's not a problem. The biggest issue I've had coming from the cargo to the XL is actually nothing to do with the tent itself, but it's to do with mounting the awning. Now on my old cargo, I used to mount the awning directly on the side of the tent using the cargo awning brackets. This was much easier to mount it, but it also meant that the awning was slightly higher up. Now I've got the light model, I need to attach the awning to the roof bars. It is an absolute faff on to sort out and get it installed, but once it's done, you have no reason really to ever fiddle with it again. All I'd say is if you're mounting an awning with a light model, it's easier to mount the awning when the tent is not attached to the roof bars, and then attach the tent afterwards. Now in my Lite 2.0 review video, I made mention about a difficulty mounting the awning together with the tent, and this was due to the tent being too close to the back of the awning, therefore I couldn't actually get the tent poles in the tent. So I made mention in that video about having to possibly offset the tent further over on the roof bars in order to fit the awning. Now, just as a bit of an update on that, I tried doing that when I installed my XL and it didn't work. I had the XL offset all the way over to the other side and I still couldn't get the poles in the tent. So the only way I've been able to figure it out so far is to turn the awning brackets upside down and have them pointing downwards. So at the moment this works, but the problem with that is my awning is now sitting slightly lower. It's not a major issue, but I am trying to work out a solution that will allow me to have the awning upwards, and if I manage to do that, I'll post it on this channel. So how do I sum this all up? Well, if you're considering buying this tent and you're looking for that little nudge over the line, I'm more than happy to give it to you. This tent is amazing. If you're new to Tentbox and you're thinking about whether to pull the trigger and order one, I appreciate it's a lot of money to part with, but I guarantee you that what you're going to get is much more than just a tent. I've had a Tentbox for 3 years now and I just love the roof tent life. It's far more convenient than traditional camping. You can camp pretty much anywhere, anytime, and have a fantastic experience. We've seen some amazing places in the past few years and I'm really looking forward to seeing many more. Being able to wake up, unzip your window and be looking out on a beautiful sunrise, the ocean waves or some snow-topped mountains is something you can't put a price on. Yes, it's a lot more money than most people would spend on a normal tent, but I can honestly say that with every fibre of my being that it's absolutely worth it. If you're thinking about buying one, I promise you, you will never regret it. I love getting away in the tent and going kayaking. There's something completely freeing about it all and I love nothing more than being outdoors, cooking and then sitting around a fire or snuggling in the tent and watching a movie. If you've got a cargo or a classic and you're thinking about making the switch, I have no regrets. The extra space makes a huge difference, not just for sleeping, but for living in a tent too. Everyone's requirements from a tent are different and I appreciate that, but hopefully this video has helped you decide whether this tent is for you. I can't say 100% which will be the best model for you, but what I can say is that if you do decide to invest in a tent box, you'll never regret it. There is a great community spirit within Tentbox. We get lots of waves from fellow tent boxers while we're on the road, and we've met plenty of tent box travellers over the past few years. You really do feel like part of a family. If you're thinking about ordering a tent, just do it. You won't regret it, and remember to use my exclusive code at checkout on the Tentbox website to grab yourself a discount. Your next adventure is just around the corner and it's waiting for you, and hopefully I'll see you at some point on the road in the future. Thanks for watching and happy travels.